Yo, what's up, fam, man? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hopefully, everyone is off to a good start. Appreciate everyone who commented, whether on social media, about the video yesterday from my guy, Stefan, man. I know he's kind of crushed and heard about it. But here's the message I want to share this morning, man. Minor setbacks set for major comebacks, right? Anytime in life, you're going to have some adversity. You're going to have doors closed in your face. You're going to be told that you're not good enough for whatever reason. Use that to your advantage. Me personally, I love it, bro. I love when people tell me Tuck can't do it or Tuck isn't good enough. That's what gets me, saying up and going. Like, even though, yesterday really didn't impact me per se, by seeing the door slammed in his face, I've been fired up, y'all. Like, I've been on a tear. And at noon today, I'm going to drop one of my best interviews I've ever dropped on this channel. If you are a Cowboys fan, this is a must-watch interview. Now, personally, I wasn't the best. I wasn't at my A game, right? Because we recorded like at midnight last night. But when you have the type of player of that caliber coming on your show, as soon as you get the message, you just got to get up. I was already in bed. I was already in my PJs, getting ready for bed. He hit me up like, can we record now? I was like, yeah, let's get it. So I jumped out of bed, right? So we did the interview. So I'm going to drop that on noon. But so many nuggets, man. He definitely blessed us. And I can't wait for y'all to see that interview. But speaking of which, right, of doors and opportunity and adversity, I've been asked this question a lot about Jaylen Tolbert. As you guys know, I was a Jaylen Tolbert fan, coming out of South Alabama. I loved his film. I had a third-round grade. The Cowboys took him in the third round in the 2021 draft class. Now, things haven't really, or 2022 draft class, right? I get them mixed up. But things really haven't worked out, right? Like, people have planned for Jaylen Tolbert. And what happens is, Cowboys fans, let's be honest, we're not patient. We're not patient with no draft pick. It's either you hit the ground running day one, or we're ready to move on, right? But I feel like Jaylen Tolbert, his rookie season, it really didn't fare out. We know the complexities that he had with the offense and the struggle he had with the offense with Kellen Moore, lining up all sides versus Green Bay. The list goes on and on. Now, last season, I feel like when he got his opportunity, though it was still behind Michael Gallup, he made the best of his opportunity. And he had a great camp last year. He got in the end zone, had a few big catches throughout the season, right? So for me, I think that Jaylen Tolbert, it is his job to lose. And what I mean by that, is it a lock or guarantee? No, absolutely not. I mean, you have Jalen Brooks, who's another, up-and-coming rising star who the Cowboys drafted as well, who had some reps that looked pretty good and had an amazing camp last year. You have Ryan Flannery, who the Cowboys drafted. I'm also thinking that the Cowboys are going to probably work out some guys, kind of they did OBJ and the T.Y. Hilton-ish. So, it could be like a Michael Thomas type situation or something when they bring some guys, kind of look into them, kind of see what they have. So I don't think he's secure in that capacity, but I feel like if Jaylen Tolbert goes out there and does what he did last camp, that he will win the job in the replacement for Michael Gallup, because he's a big physical wide receiver. He can stretch the field. He can be your deep field threat, your go up and get it guy. And I think that Dak really found some continuity with Jaylen Tolbert last year. But he's going to have to battle. He cannot afford to get nicked up or, get dinged up. Because what the real problem for Jaylen Tolbert this year, and can be truly honest with you, is that if I'm Jaylen Tolbert, Jaylen Tolbert, I'm trying to get Ceedee Lamb back at camp ASAP. What do you mean, Tuck? What do you mean if you're Jaylen Tolbert, you're trying to get Ceedee Lamb back at camp ASAP, right? Because if Ceedee Lamb is holding on, let's say he misses 2 to 3 weeks of camp, what does that mean? That means Jalen Brooks gets more reps, right? That means, some of these other rookies get more reps at the wide receiver position, right? And gets more opportunity to really scout and kind of analyze, okay, even though we had, Jaylen Tolbert over here as the Michael Gallup replacement, while CD was out, we plugged in Jalen Brooks, and him and Dak found a connection, right? So it's like one of those things, like, bro, I need CD, I need you back, right? But, I think that the Cowboys really breed competition, which I do like and I do agree, because it's like you have Tolbert, you have Brooks, you have, Tolbert, and Turpin, have some other guys out there. But it's like they're going to go out there and battle, and may the best man win. I don't think this is going to be a political thing where it's like, all right, well, we draft him in the third round and Brooks was drafted later. He gets the automatic job. No, I think whoever steps up and takes it is going to get the opportunity. So we definitely have to see how things shake out. I think it's a very important position when it comes to campus, our wide receiver room. CD, when he comes back, he's good, right? Brandon Cooks, older, but I feel like Brandon Cooks is going to have a much improved season, a much better role than he did last year, especially, earlier on. So I think that Brandon Cooks is good. But outside of that, there's some question marks, right? How is Turpin really going to be used? Even though the Cowboys used him as a quote-unquote wide receiver, they really haven't shown that in previous years. So will that continue remains to be unseen. So, I think the wide receiver group is definitely going to be one that we're going to talk about when we start to do our final rosters because, you look at the tight ends, you look at the running backs and wide receivers, like everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't go. So how many wide receivers are they going to keep active on game day remains to be seen. But I think for Jaylen Tolbert, this is a kind of a put up or a year, when it comes to Jaylen Tolbert. I still think that he can, right? I think he possesses all the qualities, all the traits to go out there and have a good, decent NFL career, at least replace what Michael Gallup gave us last year in the prior year, right? I feel like he can definitely do that. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Ceedee Lamb and all that stuff, but I think he can definitely have a pivotal role in our offense. Now, speaking of offense as well, running back room, we talked about it on a few shows. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the odd man out? I do not know. It's going to be fun to watch who's getting the reps. You can pretty much stamp Zeke. Zeke ain't going nowhere. So then you have Rico. Then you have Royce. Then you have Deuce, right? You have Snoop. You have Malik. You have this kind of cluster of where is the separation going to come from and who is really safe. Now, for Rico's standpoint, Rico, I like you, dog. I feel like any tossing Hunter as well. I like you, dog, but I don't think this is the year where you can get dinged up. I don't think this is a dinged up year, right? Because I feel like as far as you look at it from Royce Freeman's standpoint, it's like he can play. I don't think this is kind of like Ronald Jones last year. Now, I think with Ronald Jones, that really hurt him was the kind of steroids thing, right? But for the most part, Royce Freeman can run the ball, right? And I know Deuce isn't going to go out quietly. I know Deuce can do a lot of different things and give you that dynamic running back, especially on the backfield as a pass catcher as well. So, what's really going to come into play when it comes to this Cowboys running back core? I don't know, but we're going to have to keep our eyes on it, man, as we gear up for camp. Tight end room, question marks. Who's gonna make the cut there? Wide receiver core, wide receiver 2, or quote unquote wide receiver 3. What's going to really happen there in our running back core? So we got a lot of interesting tidbits to see how things really shake out when it comes to this Dallas Cowboys team, and I cannot be more excited, man. So I appreciate all y'all. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Turn on notification bells. We got some bangers, y'all. We got some bangers. And like I said, I am motivated more than ever now because I realize what needs to be done. And what needs to be done is I need to take this thing to the ultimate level, and I cannot do this without your guys' help, man. So share the content, like the content, because there's a lot of talented people in our community that gets overlooked, that gets mistreated, right? But it's like me fighting this machine from an uphill battle. It's going to be a struggle, right? I need to get above the machine and fight down, which is going to be the plan, man. So I appreciate everyone. I want everyone to stay safe. Stay blessed, stay encouraged. Realize you're going to have setbacks. You're going to get doors closed on you. You're not going to get the job you want. Goals are going to have, complications. But continue to fight, and you will thrive, and you will overcome all of it. People cannot stop what God has designed for you, period. They didn't give it to you. They can't take it away. And that's the motto I live my everyday life by, because I know only one man's in charge of my success, and that's the man above. Peace.